Scoot it back here a little bit. Oh my God. Welcome to Brown's Rod and Custom, your home for street rods, muscle cars, and Volkswagen content. This is my dad, Big Ron. He's our body man and fabricator. This is my beautiful wife, Megan, our editor-in-chief and supporter. And this is me, Adam, the designer and mechanic for our projects. If you find our videos helpful, like and subscribe for more content.
Good morning, everybody. We are back. Welcome back to Brown's Rod and Custom. It is Monday. Happy Monday. We're back on Project Save Big Red, which is exciting. So, you can hear Ron out here. He's under there working. Weather broke. It's still a little damp out. It stopped raining about 30 minutes ago. And I pulled up the Big Ron going to war under here. So, that's exciting. So we're looking really good. Hopefully today we can get this all welded up and ground down. And that'll be a massive step in the right direction. Because really important thing to do here, boys, is get this bare metal, get something on it. As we go into the rainy season here in Florida, we need to make sure we're not exposed, causing more problems than what we originally had, right? So that's happening. I'm working on 73 Volkswagen thing a little bit today. As you guys saw in yesterday's video, we got some issues here that we're taking care of. Got some parts coming. My job now is to get this upper control arm off and the eccentric bushing off of the ball joint without destroying either. Yeah. So that's my challenge, and then hopefully the new eccentric bearings will show up, our bushings, and we'll get those installed and so on in the next 2 to 3 days. Just waiting on shipping. It's coming from Southern California, SoCal Imports, so I'm guessing it's Southern California, and hopefully that'll fix a lot of this. I have decided I am going to swap out my steering box, so that's something else I'm going to go ahead and start dealing with here soon. I'm gonna wait though, I think, until after I change out to the eccentric bushings, just to make sure that it wasn't just that. I'm 99% positive I have my steering box something weird there, but you know, I don't have a new steering box sitting here to just bolt on, so why even go there until we can at least test some things and see what happens. So if I put the eccentric bushings in and then all of a sudden everything works great and I hook the steering back up and everything's working great, wow, we won't change the steering box. Unless it absolutely has a ton of play or something, you know. So see where it goes. There's that. On another Project Save Big Red note, the transmission guy just called me. He said our transmission is built. It's he's just waiting on that overdrive house. Now, great news. I got confirmation from FedEx. The overdrive housing is out for delivery right now. We will have it today. So, supposed to have it by 2:50 this afternoon. Sometime between now and then. Usually, boys, FedEx is the first ones down the street. They always come from that way. So, see what happens here in the next couple hours. But once I get that, I told him I'd bring it right over to him, and he's going to finish it up. So I would say, if not today, tomorrow we should be picking up our transmission. I think that's where we're at. So that's exciting. And we'll have our built 48RE sitting here ready to rock. So very exciting stuff. And yeah. What is that? Yeah, so that's where we're at. Hope you guys are having a great Monday. We're going to get to work here. I think I'm going to jump on a grinder and start grinding and just kind of knock this thing down and go from there. So stay tuned. Okay guys, here's where we're at. Big Ron's making that patch back there by the vice grips. Zoom in back there a little bit. Back there. And then the next ones will be these two here. That one and that one. That's what we got to get welded up. And then we got to get all that ground down back there. I got a little grinding to do here. And then all metal. And then hopefully get this thing primed. So stay tuned, boys. We're on it. Sun came out, thank God. So here we go. Be back in a minute. Hey boys, welcome back. FedEx guy just came, dropped off our overdrive housing, which is exciting. Looks like a box inside of a box. Hold on. That box. Ooh, it's in a Cummins box. That's exciting. That tells me we probably got the right thing. All right, let's get this opened up. See what we got here, boys. Before we take it over to the transmission guy, I want to just make sure it looks like it's supposed to. All right, bub. It sure looks like an overdrive housing for a 48 RE. Okay. Got new gaskets. Looks like a new seal. Is that in the gasket thing? That right there. And then this big beautiful bastard. New overdrive housing. So for those of you wondering why we needed this, it goes like this. Okay, this is the back. All right. This part mounts the transmission. Transfer case mounts here. Ours right here was snapped off. Okay, broke off here. This was incredibly corroded. And then on the inside, somehow, deep down in there in that hole was corroded. So, this is what we got. So I'm gonna run this over. Show this to you guys, you guys can see it. Pretty cool. This is the heavy duty one for a 48 RE from Cummins. So I'm going to run this over to the transmission guy, and hopefully, any luck, and I talked to him this morning, you guys heard that already, hopefully we'll get this bad boy onto the tranny today or tomorrow and get it back here, and get our tranny back. So very exciting, very big day for Big Red, very big day for Ron and me. We've needed this for a long time, this transmission. It's a bigger deal than you know. It was always a money thing. They're just a lot of money. And to be this far and this close to having something worthwhile is really exciting. It's meaningful to us. So I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna get this over there, guys. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, boys, let me show you what we got here. So I got the driver's side off, upper control arm loose. Here it is. So that's out. That's huge. Just had to pull the shock just to get it to drop down far enough, but that's that. So there's my ball joint, there's my control arm. I ended up not having to take the control arm off. That's huge. We were trying to get to this little fucker. Okay? We think this is the culprit of our tightness on our suspension, okay? This is the escutcheon bushing. Managed to get it out. Now, if you have to do this, boys, go to Harbor Freight, spend $17, and buy this. Okay? Basically, what this does is it pulls. This side goes where the bolt is, or the stud. This side goes at the ball joint. You tighten this nut, pushes up, pops it through, Bob's your uncle. As opposed to trying to beat it with a hammer, right? So, for example, on this one here, it'll go something to the effect of, hold on, I'm gonna run it out here. Got Ron out there welding. We just dropped the transmission piece off, the extension, overdrive housing. Overdrive housing extension is what it's actually called. So this would go up here, that would go like that. See how that is there? That's how you would want it. And then you tighten this bolt down. And it starts popping it through. It's pushing down on the scutcheon and pushing the bolt or the stud of the ball joint through the scutcheon. This is the tool you want. It's $17.99 at Harbor Freight. Okay. It is. I have the box up here. It's called a 3/4 inch forged ball joint separator. Okay. Item number 99849. Okay. That's it. Looks like this. It's Pittsburgh brand. Works fantastic. Now I bought the O'Reilly's version of this, which is kind of a pot metal, and I broke it. So there's the remnants of it. Here's their version. It looks heavier duty, but it's different metal. It's just weak. So, anywho's, this one worked great. So now I'm gonna pop that one out, take that shock off, drop that down, take this other scutcheon out hopefully, and then we're ready for the new ones when they get here and we can just bolt them on. That's the plan, Stan. So stay tuned for that. Sorry for the terrible camera work. I'll be back in a minute, boys. Okay guys, so we are officially welded up, ground down on both sides. Ron's gonna get under here and wipe this down and then start all metaling. So once that gets done and we get that sanded, then it's pretty much primer time, I think. So we're getting there, hoping to prime tomorrow. That's the idea. Just with drying times and everything, there's no way we're gonna get it today, but we should be getting in a world, so stay tuned for that. We should have this thing rocking. I did on the Volkswagen thing, just so you know, I did go ahead and get both sides off, both whatever the hell they're called, the little things we're trying to get out, the bushings. I got both of those eccentric bushings out. And now we're just waiting on new parts to put the new ones in, kind of compare what we had to, you know, where we're going and whatnot. So see if what we have are the same thing as what's coming, or if they're different, I'll be able to tell you. So stay tuned for all that. We'll be back in a minute, guys. I'm gonna go find some lunch. All right, boys, here we go. This is our built 48 RE. Scoot it back here a little bit. Oh my God. Here we go. We got a billet, single stage, or single disc torque converter. It's a, I think it's a 2200 stall or whatever it is. And then we got the built 48 RE. Now the next thing we're going to be doing here in a second is painting this. So that's the next thing you guys will see, but it is done, it is paid for, it is built. It's got our new housing on it that came this morning. We're in good shape, boys. It's a huge piece of the puzzle for this truck. So stay tuned, we'll be back. Hey guys, all right, so let's talk about our 48 RE that we just got back. So I've got the service invoice here. I'm going to read to you what actually went into this, and we'll kind of go over all of it so it makes sense. Torque converter is from, I believe it's Florida Torque Converter. Yeah, Florida Torque Converter. It's a single disc billet torque converter. That was $600. Okay. It got the billet front servo. That was a $100 option, or $140 option. Then it got an overhaul kit, new frictions, a performance band, a rear band, a bearing kit, rear billet servo, an accumulator, a shift kit, new electronics, and a filter. That's what went into this. On top of the really shiny rear tail housing here you see, this was in addition to this. So this, basically this was $3,000. That's basically what it comes to, not counting this, okay? So this was $2,800 plus $140 option for the front billet servo. Okay, so $2,940 is what we paid for this transmission. And then I paid an additional $363 to my door for the rear overdrive extension housing for 4x4. So because ours was just terrible. So all in all, not bad. Dropped it off, and to be honest with you, if this wouldn't have been bad, this housing, and we didn't have to wait for it to show up, we would have had this transmission back in 2 days. That's pretty good.
We took it out.
We did take the transmission out. You guys watched us do that. So we were just dropping off a tranny that was ready to go with a torque converter as a core. And this is what we got back. So really happy with this. Big Ron's getting ready to wipe this down. I'm going to run up to O'Reilly's and buy a can of spray paint. And we're going to paint this black to match our engine. Actually, I probably have enough of the Pour 15 engine paint to do it.
Yeah. Just paint it.
We can brush it.
Yeah. It'd hold.
It would hold. We're going to do that. We're going to do the Pour 15 engine paint on it. Why not? I got it. It'll match the engine. So that's what we got here, boys. Really happy with it. Really excited. I asked him what, on a horsepower range, I told him I'm not going to hold you to this or anything, but what would you expect this to hold and still be usable daily, so on and so forth from a horsepower standpoint. And he told me it should be able to hold 550. We're never going to get to 550 horsepower. So I think we're good. And it should should be pretty good. I think the next step up for this, if you wanted to go more, you would do the billet input shaft and a triple disc billet converter, and that adds $2,000 to the build. That right there. So everything else is pretty much done. So I feel really good about it. We were hoping to have this shipped similar to stock, you know, maybe quicker, but you know, just not bang into gear. We weren't looking for any of that craziness. Just wanted it to not slip out of gear and do all those kind of things, be able to pull hills and so on and so forth, and hold up to the horsepower that we're going to put down, which will be somewhere in the, probably somewhere between 375 to 425, I think is about where we're going to be. So this will do that all day long. So we're really happy with it. Just wanted to show that to you guys. And I'm going to shut up and start painting. See you in a minute. Hey boys, we're back. All right, so I'm gonna keep this short and sweet because this has been a long video, but I think you guys have seen most of it. Started out the day working on the thing and welding and grinding on the cab of the truck on the floor. Got the welding and grinding done on the cab and the floor. Ready for all metal and bodywork and primer hopefully tomorrow. See where that goes. While we were doing that, also went ahead and got the front suspension, the front control arms out of the escutcheon bushings on the Volkswagen thing. So we are just now waiting for new parts, see where that goes. I did have a viewer say that it's common for the ball joints to not be made correctly, basically, and to have to basically put the ball joints on a lathe, press them in and then put them on a lathe or something to basically take some material off to get them to fit. Otherwise it's too tight, so that might be something we gotta look at. We shall see. But we're gonna give it hell with this first before we go doing that shit. So there's that. And in the middle of all that, the transmission guy, well, the tail housing came. The extension tail housing for the transmission for the truck. And we went ahead and ran that over to him. And then about an hour and a half later, he texted me and said it's ready. I said, oh shit, all right. Because he already had the transmission built, other than the tail housing in the overdrive, which apparently isn't hard to do. So we ran over, picked it up, brought it home. You guys saw that. We went ahead and put a coat of paint on it, and the 415 engine paint. On what I could get to, I haven't like gotten the bottom, which I'll do once it's in the truck when I can actually lay under there and do it. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. So show you guys this. There's our 48 RE in all her glory. In talking to him, he said it'll hold somewhere between 5 and 550 all day long. Don't even worry about it. As far as horsepower, that's more than I'm ever going to do. So that makes me feel very comfortable in putting my my turbo that I want to put on here, my intake system and all that. I think we're going to be just fine. And having a new torque converter. This is actually where I believe most of our problems were on the transmission when I was trying to tow. I think the converter was shot. So now we got to build single stage or single disc or whatever they call them. So I feel good here. So, and Florida torque converter makes really good torque converters. So really happy with that. So yeah. So I think we're gonna call it a night, boys, and we'll be back tomorrow right here. Project Save Big Red, and hopefully by the end of the day we'll be spraying some primer on this pig, and that'd be nice. And then Thursday we'll go pick up some bed liner and a Raptor bed liner kit, and hopefully we're spraying bed liner on this thing by the end of the week here, Thursday, Friday. So that would be amazing, because then this is ready, this is ready, that's ready. It's really the only thing that's holding us up from putting engine, transmission, transfer case, exhaust, hook everything up on here, cab onto the frame, is a couple things. And I'm going to show you what those are right now. Ow! Found it. Alright. Engine mounts. I need to buy engine mounts. I need a training mount. Okay? Probably don't have to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. So engine mounts. I need to get the fuel line from here that goes to the back of the head, which would be a bitch to do in the truck. And I need the Mishimoto cooler. It's a transmission oil cooler for the torque converter. That goes right here. And I need these rubber hoses, and I need the line that goes to here. If I had that, I'm feeling pretty good about getting the engine into the correct frame, not this one. And then a series of events happen real quick. So things that would be left to do, you know, that could be a challenge in the truck, but it's not impossible because guys do it every day. would be fuel injectors and the gaskets. I'd be putting on the new turbo in the truck, which isn't a big deal. Tons of room. And then we'd be bolting all the accessories on the front of the motor and all that in the truck. Not a big deal at all, because there's nothing in your way. It's like working on it here. But everything else could go in, get hooked up, wired up, done, to where we're just waiting on select engine parts to get this thing dialed in, fired up, and rolling. So, yeah, I think we got ourselves a direction here, boys. So hopefully in the next, 2-3 weeks, we got cab on frame. That'd be great. Motor and tranny in truck. That would be amazing. So that's where we're headed. Hope you guys are having a great night. Thank you again for watching Brown's Riding Custom. If you made it this far, thank you. We appreciate it, and we really hope you're enjoying the content. I'm trying to get you things. There's just so much going on over here that's just, some of these videos are going to be long because there's this and there's that and there's that. I mean, there's just things happening all over the place. But I think they're important, and I think a lot of you guys that have been watching this for a while want to see these things because it's progress on stuff that you've been watching for months now. So, anywho's, have a great night. See you in the morning. Thanks for watching Brown's Riding Custom. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in the morning.